In this video I want to show you the two classes of lever that you can apply when training with the steel mace. The mace is a training tool that is fundamentally a lever. And in order to best utilize this, or utilize to its greatest extent, we have to understand how the lever works and how we can also utilize that in a unique way in our strength training. Now, to understand the lever a bit more, every time we have this lever, you can imagine my arm here, this is the lever now. So in order to utilize this lever in our training, we need to have a certain fixed point, a pivoting point. So you can imagine this now to be the pivoting point. So I can place now this lever on top of that pivoting point. You can see it will tip over to both sides, but the pivoting point itself will not move. That will stay exactly the same. So we can then choose any point actually here on this lever to where we place that pivoting point. So this on the middle is very clear, and then we can do the other opposite extreme, which is on one end. And now you can see it moves like this way. Again, pivoting point does not move, but the lever moves attached to it. Now, how do we utilize this in the mace training? So we can understand that when we are playing with these levers, we have the pivoting point, but we also have the load, which is very easy to understand with the mace. Where is the load? Well, the load is always in the head of the mace. And then we have a force that is acting upon the lever. So here, my knee works as a pivoting point. We have the load, and then my arm here is the force. Without my arm, boom, it will not hold. So I need the force of my arm to move the load. So this, what we have here, this is the first class lever. So you can already see that just by supporting the lever here on my knee, I have this way of doing tricep extensions, for instance. And this is one of the ways you can actually utilize this. Like if you have a basic dumbbell, it is very difficult to do tricep extensions that would be like this way, you're standing vertical. You cannot place any resistance on your tricep. But if I have the lever here that is trying to push down and raise my arm here up, then I can also fight against that. And now I have, for instance, a very, very good tricep extension. Now, one of the very also good things about the lever is that it is easy to adjust the difficulty here. So the more closer the weight comes to the pivoting point, then the easier it is. Like there's almost no resistance here for me to do this tricep extension. But by increasing the distance there, the moment arm, now it starts to become a lot more difficult. And even more difficult we can make it. So let's try it here. So now there's a lot of resistance, as you can see. I'm really needing to seriously use the strength of my triceps to lift that up. So this is a very simple example of utilizing just the first class lever in order to train the tricep muscle. Now the third class lever, we have first, second and third class. The second class lever we cannot really utilize because in order to do that, the weight here, the load should be somewhere in the middle of this bar. So we cannot move that. So we need to skip the second class and go to the third class lever. And in this case, the pivoting point will be actually my other arm here. So we have the load, we have the force, which is my arm here, and we have the pivoting point. And so I will be lifting it like this way. So essentially this should be now immovable. I can stabilize it here on my knee again, like this way. Boom. Boom. And now I'm performing a bicep curl. And again, I could perform bicep curl just like this way. And this 6 kilos is, I think, is a considerable, or it's a good amount of weight even just to perform a bicep curl like this way. But again, if you want to utilize the lever and you want to actually utilize the tool, which is the mace to its fullest extent, now I increase the lever. And I fix this point over here. And then it's a very different type of stimulus with a lot more resistance. And there's also this a little bit of curve to the trajectory of my arm. But this third class lever we can also utilize to train our triceps. This is one of my actually favorite triceps movement even at the moment. This is part of our Iron King method. And in it I do this overhead tricep extension. And again, this arm here will work as the pivoting point, so I will not move it. The load is here at the back, and my force, which is this right arm, will be somewhere in the middle. And where I place it will of course determine then just the difficulty of it. I can start here. It's a bit easier. Boom, 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 like that. Or I can move it further away. And now I have a lot more resistance. This is a very fine way to do overhead tricep extensions because it gives a more, let's say, fixed path that goes in the trajectory. When you have the dumbbell, you can do it, but there's much more wiggle room for your arm to move around as you're pressing the weight. This gives a really nice, more stable path because of the fixed point in the front due to the other arm, due to the pivoting point. Gives me a very nice opportunity to work on very pure extension. Bam. So there. These are also able to, or we can apply these even when we're standing here. This is just, for example, the tricep extension. But I like the kneeling version because here the pivoting point, in order to keep this very stable, I need to utilize my arm muscles quite a lot. So it also will train even the other arm here. Just the isometric contraction to hold it in place. So this is why placing here on the knee is a good strategy. I can still, like this might hurt your leg a little bit here, but if you place your arm under it like so, it gives a really good position for you to control it and keep the movement nice and clean. Boom, without this point moving anywhere. Bicep curl, same thing. I can do this. There. So these are just a few different variations that you can utilize, but it's all based on two different levers. The first class and the third class lever. So the one where the pivoting point is in the middle, and the other where the pivoting point is here in the one end of that lever. So this is something that I wanted to bring out because with the Mace, everyone understands, okay, we can do the swing motions. So these are unique patterns to the Mace. Doing the 360-degree swings, or doing here circular, like so, or other type of exercise, the swing exercises that you can do in front of your body here, or doing spiraling patterns like this way. But there's another unique feature of the Mace in the strength exercises, where we can really utilize this long handle that's been given to us and the uneven weight distribution, having all of the weight in one end of that lever. So that gives us very much unique options to train our body in a way that are not possible with dumbbells. So I hope this gives you a good appreciation for this tool and some ideas how you can also incorporate it better into your own strength training.